Many have asked the question, is there life outside of our planet? Various space agencies have done a great job at discovering new planets, some of which have a lot of things in common with Earth, meaning that we know other planets exist out there that could potentially hold complex life. It's these discoveries that have caused us to explore certain regions more. Some of the most fascinating discoveries are those of asteroids. These large rocky bodies are interesting for a number of reasons. One, because they have the ability to wipe out all life on Earth, and also because they tell us a lot about our solar system. One asteroid that caught many people's attention goes by the name of 1999 RQ-36, and the reason people are so interested in this rocky body is because they think there's a pyramid on it. This structure has since become known as the Black Pyramid, and various people have shared their opinions on what they think the strange object is. Asteroid 1999 RQ-36 was discovered back in September of 1999. It's estimated to measure in at just under 500 meters, and is even listed as being a potentially hazardous asteroid, meaning that at some point in the future it's going to crash into us or fly past at an extremely close distance. NASA said the following about the mission on their website. The mission will help scientists investigate how planets formed and how life began, as well as improve our understanding of asteroids that could impact Earth. NASA detects, tracks and characterizes asteroids and comets passing close to Earth using both ground and space-based telescopes. The Near-Earth Object Observations Program at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, commonly called SpaceGuard, discovers these objects, characterizes some of them, and plots their orbits to determine if any could be potentially hazardous to our planet. JPL manages the Near-Earth Object Office for NASA's science mission in Washington. End quote. So what do NASA make of this strange-looking pyramid that can be seen on the edge of this asteroid? As of right now, they haven't commented on the images. Something interesting to note though is that the images that show the pyramid were not taken by NASA, but rather were sent back from the Indian Space Research Organization. This has caused some to say that NASA edited their images in order to not show the pyramid, and that the reason they sent a mission to this asteroid was in order to investigate the pyramid. One UFO researcher said the following: "We know that NASA has been editing their photographs for years, but I think this is one of the most interesting discoveries that's ever been made on an asteroid. It seems to me like they edited this image so you could no longer see the pyramid, and sent a mission there in order to go and investigate it. They made up the excuse that they wanted to get samples from the terrain of the asteroid, when all along they wanted to investigate this strange structure. It makes you wonder if they've been doing this with other solar bodies." End quote. Others went on to note that it's strange how NASA's and the Indian Space Research Organization's photographs don't match up, saying that either one of them is lying. Others have put forward more out their theories saying that this is proof that advanced life exists within the universe, but others have gone down a different route. Although they noted that the object does look a little strange, it doesn't mean that it's proof of pyramids or advanced life. They have said the object in question could be a shadow or even a case of pareidolia. One UFO researcher even said they tried to reach out to the Indian Space Organization, asking them what their thoughts were on the strange object. However, they said they never got a reply back. As of right now, not much information can be found about the strange object, and with NASA refusing to comment, it's only caused more out there theories to be put forward. NASA have said there's various places of interest, and that we don't have to travel far to find possible life, as scientists and researchers have said that other complex life forms could actually be within our very own solar system. One place that's of particular interest is that of Jupiter's moon Europa. Due to this moon being of high interest, space agencies have said they want to send rovers to the planet, and this is for the sole purpose of finding out if there's life in its vast ocean. Known as the Europa Lander mission, NASA scientists theorize that the most likely candidate for life to be found in our solar system is expected to be within the icy surface of Europa, due to its expectation of the moon holding vast amounts of water beneath the frozen surface. Data surrounding Europa believes the moon holds a vast salty ocean of water, similar to our oceans on Earth. This giant ocean is said to span the moon's entire globe. Additionally, due to the frozen surface, scientists expect the conditions of the water to be favourable, as the ice surface acts as a natural atmospheric barrier against radiation, similar to our electromagnetic field, giving life desirable conditions to flourish without its deep oceans. NASA plans on sending a rover to the moon in an attempt to penetrate the surface and collect samples more than 4 inches deep to better understand the complex chemistry of materials from the ocean below. Efforts are already being made by NASA engineers to design a rover similar to the Martian rovers that will carry miniature laboratories within the lander to analyze samples, but with the addition of an onboard chemical analysis lab, they would be able to hold microscopic cameras for the analyzation of bacterial and microbial life. Although the project is still in its conceptual stages, it holds high promise in the search of extraterrestrial life, and seems to be of growing priority in the coming years. Interestingly, this isn't just fantasy either. A British scientist has come forward and said it's almost a certainty that Jupiter's moon Europa is home to alien life, but they noted that these creatures could look similar to the octopus that we have on Earth. National parks are some of the most beautiful places on the planet, but a sad truth is that many people go missing in them. Over 250,000 individuals are reported missing every year, with estimates of actual missing person cases that are left unreported pushing that total to more than 300,000 cases. With that many reports, it's no wonder that a vast majority of these cases are left unsolved. One national park disappearance that got solved was that of Sailor Gilliam's, and the argument has been made that the only thing that saved her life was her red hair. Sailor was hiking in Santa Barbara, California with her friend Brendan Vega. Although both of them were excited to get going, both of them were inexperienced when it came to this kind of trek. The terrain around this area is known for being dangerous, and in the past many experienced hikers have warned those from taking on this kind of environment. As time passed, the couple noticed that it started to get dark, and thought it would be best if they head back. However, things would take a turn for the worse as they couldn't find their car. Sailor then jumped off a rock and badly hurt her leg. Unfortunately, things for the pair would only get worse. They decided to get their phones out so they could call for help, but realized that both of them were out of battery. They also had no flashlight. Vega then tried to carry Sailor. However, this act would cause him to fall over and break his glasses, break his elbow and also break Sailor's ankle in the process. Vega told Sailor to stay where she was and that he was going to find help. However, this would be the last time that Sailor saw him. Sailor said the following about the event: "I was yelling for help all night and the rest of the next day, even though I was losing consciousness. At some point I didn't think anyone would find me. I felt like no one would save me." End quote. By the next day she was exhausted after screaming all through the night. Luckily at this time a group of hikers passed through the area, with one of them noticing something red in the corner of their eye. As they looked closer they could see that this belonged to a woman. The hiker Nicole Gergen said she saw a flame of red hair in the corner of her eye, and after approaching her knew that her injuries were potentially life-threatening. They immediately phoned for help. One of the members of the group said the following: "This route has dangerous boulders and rocks, so no one else was there. Plus it was a Monday afternoon during work hours. I mean, I was only there at the time because I was unemployed." End quote. Sailor's mother and aunt were soon contacted. with her mother saying the following: "I've been so frightened. I'd gone to the police department. We had no idea where she was." End quote. This story doesn't have a happy ending though. While Sailor was being attended to in hospital, she found out that Vega had been found, unfortunately passing away from his injuries. It's said that he fell while he was looking for help. The sad truth is that many people who go missing in national parks are never found. Every now and then there's a series of missing cases that emerge that are so peculiar, they become the subject of internet theories. Known as the missing 411, there appears to be a substantial number of missing person cases relating to the disappearance of individuals from national parks. In fact, many of these missing 411 cases are believed to not be investigated too deeply, as some form of supernatural cover-up takes place in these undisturbed locations. Maurice Gordon Doc Demetz was an 84-year-old Christian reverend, of whom had a relatively successful writing career during his time, and worked as a Christian leader of his small community, with a number of successful publications under his belt, such as his works titled Focal Points of Christian History, Trouble Transformed, Burden Bearing and Mystery of Godliness. Unfortunately, Doc was suffering from a severe blood disorder that made it difficult for him to be alone, and had several arthritis complications that prevented him from being able to move without assistance. Despite these physical limitations, Doc enjoyed spending his free time venturing out into the wilderness to locate ideal conditions for mining precious gems and minerals. Doc had been a fan of leading his own private expeditions in the field of geology, and would often invite a close friend of his to accompany him when making trips out into national parks, or empty stretches of wilderness to assist him during the trip, and help him move throughout the rugged terrain. Doc's fascination for the field of geology would eventually lead him to joining the American Federation of Mineral Societies, and Flatiron's Gem and Mineral Club, becoming an experienced veteran of private expeditions and mining efforts. It's for these reasons that it came as a shock to the wife of Doc when he suddenly disappeared, and this happened when venturing out into the Pike National Forest, located in the Forest Range of Colorado, and this happened when taking a trip with his close friend McSherry. According to McSherry, the two had found a small sandy pit close to the Rampart Range Road, where McSherry said he left Doc to venture out an extra 50 yards, and this was to find his own sandy pit to dig from. After around 2 hours of mining, McSherry returned to Doc and told him they would be driving home soon because it was getting dark. Doc had said he would start gathering his tools while McSherry returned to his pit. After McSherry finished packing his things, he'd returned to Doc's pit only to find that he completely disappeared without a trace. When investigations were made, detectives remarked that the disappearance of Doc seemed perplexing, as there were no evidence of a struggle or any footsteps, markings or tracks left behind in any direction. Additionally, all of Doc's tools went missing with him, and nothing was left in the pit to be used as evidence. On the 18th of July 1981, the wife of Maurice Gordon Doc wrote a letter to her governor, Governor Richard Lamb, asking for any assistance in helping find her husband. The letter detailed that she believed that details were being covered up, with thoughts that he'd met some kind of foul play or had been carried away, and that efforts for an investigation were being stopped by unseen forces. Despite this letter, no further action was taken. Reports of paranormal entities have been shared for centuries, but it's not just the general public that have allegedly encountered these apparitions. The police are the first emergency service we call when our lives or property are at risk. Dealing with things like break-ins or driving offences are pretty much routine occurrences for them. So when the police see something not even they can explain, it's understandable that we will begin to feel a little uneasy. Even the most experienced officers have on some occasions been truly baffled by the weird, or in some cases altogether disturbing things they've experienced. The Bexhill police station in Sussex has been at the centre of a strange haunting. Police officers and others who have visited the station have reported seeing a gentleman, saying that every so often this figure will make himself known, and say that he looks to be from the Edwardian era. One of the officers working at the station said this figure has allegedly been seen on the grounds for hundreds of years, and thinks that perhaps something may have happened hundreds of years ago that caused the apparition to stick around. Those that have seen him though have said he doesn't seem to have a motive, and most of the time he can be seen walking throughout the station, almost as if he's lost or looking for something. The next station that's said to have an unearthly visitor is that of the Birmingham police station on Canterbury Road. Officers working here would detail that during the night shift they kept hearing strange sounds. As they walked around the building in order to find out what was making the strange noises, they would see a misty manifestation appear in front of them or behind them. The few officers that saw the apparition claimed that it appeared to be a woman, and this matches up with the descriptions given by various officers that heard the sounds. Employees who worked the night shift claimed to have heard loud screams that echoed throughout the building, saying that sometimes they were alone when this happened. This strange event had been happening since the early 1970s, and continued until the building was eventually closed. Because of this, many officers refused to work the night shift. The building was eventually investigated, saying that the strange noises that could be heard were being made by the building itself because of how old it was. But those who worked there said this was just an excuse that was made up in order to make them feel better, and doesn't explain the loud screams and apparitions that were heard and seen by many of the officers. The Blackburn police station in Lancashire is another location said to be haunted. Since 1999, cleaning staff and officers have reported seeing an apparition throughout the building, going on to note that this figure appears to be a tall man that wears a top hat. Those that have seen him have said he looks to be from the Victorian era, and that it's hard to make out certain features, but one of the things that stands out is his hat. Due to these descriptions, it's caused some to speculate that what people are seeing is an entity that's become known as the Hat Man. The history of the Hat Man phenomenon goes way back in time, and different written records of the Hat Man have been found. In fact, some evidence of the Hat Man-like entity have been found in scriptures of previous civilizations, showcasing that whatever this thing is, it's been plaguing humanity for a long time. Some have gone on to detail that this entity would appear in the corner of a room while they were sleeping, and that when they try to move or get away from it they realise they can't. This has caused some to say that this entity is evil. Some people believe the Hat Man is actually a mysterious paranormal entity that's haunted human beings for years, and continues to do so in the present day. They believe the Hat Man tries its best to paralyse a person, and even take their life. However, when it fails to do so, the person lives to tell the tale. Those at the station have said this manifestation usually makes itself known at night, with many of the cleaners coming forward and detailing that they saw a tall man with a hat on during their shift, which frightened them so much that they handed in their notice the next day. This in turn means that the station has a high turnaround of cleaners, as those who have seen or heard something end up leaving soon after, saying that whatever they saw was unlike anything they've experienced. It's not known why this entity is seen by so many people, but if you ask those that have experienced the paranormal, many of them will say that they've encountered a shadow person. This shadowy figure has over time become famous, leading on to it being given a variety of different names, some of which include the Shadow Man, the Hat Man, and the Shadow Person. The phenomenon has gained widespread popularity, and a number of documentaries have been made on the subject, trying to get to the bottom of what people are experiencing. However, it seems the more the subject is looked into, the more questions that are put forward. People have been encountering this paranormal entity for years, which has caused paranormal researchers to put forward different theories for why so many people see this apparition. According to one theory, humans are most vulnerable when they're asleep, and when they're suffering from sleep paralysis, their brain plays this trick where they believe that someone is ready to harm them. However, there is no scientific evidence supporting this theory. Some people believe the Hat Man is actually their own spirit, and that it appears as a shadowy figure. One chilling story was told by a woman who said that she saw one of these shadow figures crawling up her bed. She claims that she closed her eyes and upon opening them it vanished, but as she looked up to the ceiling she said it was hanging upside down. A hollow, raspy voice then said they were marked, and then it vanished. There are various places across our planet that you'd think are more likely to be haunted than others. Some of these including things like cemeteries, old buildings and places that have seen dark times. But one place where you wouldn't expect there to be apparitions is that of police stations. However, eyewitness reports show this isn't the case, as many officers and employees have come forward and detailed their strange encounters. So what do you make of these haunted police stations, and have you ever seen anything similar? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comments section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.